Eckler's Fruit Farm. Eckler's Fruit Farm. Get some green beans and I think some maters.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be canning some tomatoes, and I do have a disclaimer to this video. It is for entertainment purposes only. I suggest that anybody wants to try canning that they get the Blue Book of Canning, Preserving Food, and learn how to can and how to sterilize their jars and other things that go along with this. You can get very sick if you don't know what you're doing. Bacteria can grow real easy in these jars, so it's important that you learn how to do this. Alright guys, first step is going to be preparing your jars. I'm going to go through and make sure all your mouths of your jars are not chipped, so they have a good seal. And then you're going to want to clean them. And I just clean them with some, let them soak for a couple minutes, and clean them with some soap and water. So we will let them soak for a minute, clean them out real good, rinse them, and then we'll go on to the next step. So now after you get all your jars clean, you've inspected all the tops, they're all nice and clean. We're going to set the oven at the lowest setting, around 200 degrees. We're going to put them in there upside down for about 10 minutes and then shut the oven off. Another way you can sterilize this is by filling them up with water and putting them in a water bath like this and boiling them. And let them boil for a couple minutes, and then you can sterilize them like that too. So the next step here is we're going to get a couple of big pots with water going. One's going to be for processing the tomatoes after we get them in the cans and lids on. The other one, we are going to scald our tomatoes. And if you can see, what I did here is I tied a wire onto my drain plug. We're going to pour the water in there and let them sit till they start to crack, and then use this to pull the drain. Then we'll start skinning them. So while that's going and our jars are heating up, this is the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving. This is, I don't know what year edition this is, but it hasn't changed that much. It goes over all the steps to canning. The beginning of the book talks about hot baths, pressure cookers, and then it even gets into making jams and freezing, blanching, and dehydrating. It's freezing. All step by step. And that's the Ball's Blue Book Guide to Preserving. Okay, once one of our pots gets to a rolling boil, we want to add it to our tomatoes to get the skins off. You always want to be careful with this because it's water hurts. So we're gonna leave our tomatoes in this for a few minutes until they start to crack. We want the skins to come off easy. So we'll leave that in there and we'll get on to the next process. So you can see they're starting to crack, slough, skin's coming off them. And as they start to crack, I put them in cool water. And then basically just take a paring knife, take all the skin off of it. Cut out the center, pop the center out. Don't do that on both ends sometimes. Cut it in quarters. Yeah. That one, just almost take it off with your hands there. And, just core out the center. Each side. And then just process them up. Get all these done and we'll get into putting them in the jars. So after you skinned and cored them, you should end up with a mess. A tomatoey mess. But skinned, quartered up. Now we want to get some good water going on a little pot. We got our water bath there where we're going to cook it in, and then some more water for the second batch. So what we'll do next is we'll get this cleaned up, and we'll get our jars out and pack our jars after we get this tomatoey mess cleaned up. So now we can start packing our jars. So just get our jars out of the oven. Should be nice and warm. And put a towel down there. Just basically pack it in. Shake it around a little bit. Some more in there. So you're about give yourself some airspace right there. Yeah. shake it around a little bit. Yeah, you can add some more in there. This is going to be stewing tomatoes anyways for chilies and stuff, so I will get all these packed. The 7 that I'm going to do, we only do 7 at a time, and then show you the next step. Once we get the jars packed, then we want to use canning salt. This is iodine free. That's the only difference with canning salt. And add a teaspoon to each jar. Now that our water's boiling, we got to add the boiling waters and the lids and the rings. Get our boiling water over here. And then add our boiling water till we get about a ½ inch from the top there. I'll try to get all the air out. I picked up lids and rings. It's all together. Got the lid, ring. Just place it in there. Some people warm them up with water, but I don't. Just go on one way. Make sure they're snug. And then just repeat. Get your boiling water. All your air's out. Now you want to make sure this is nice and cleaned off. You don't want any tomato pieces or vegetable pieces on here. You want to make sure that that ring is nice and cleaned off. And it'll only go on there one way. It'll only seat one way, so you don't cross thread. Get all these filled up, and then we'll get them into the water bath. Okay, now we're going to add our jar to our water bath here. Use a jobber like this. Here. don't have 7. I only got 6 out of that. Well, that blew that lid right off of there. So put a different lid on that one real quick. Sometimes you get caps and stuff that just don't want to cooperate with you. Now, I'm going to have to take some water out of here. Seeing that I don't have a 7th one, I'm going to have to add what I do is I add an empty jar. I'll take this boiling water here, fill it up. Add this last one in there. Alright. So now what we're going to do, we got them all fitted in there. Take some water out of here so we're about 1/2 inch or so over the top. Here's where we're going to boil it. Now, getting the camera set up here. Try not to fog this out. But I got them in there. Fit 7. Okay. And we're going to wait for it to come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to let it boil for 45 minutes. And then we'll get it out, get them out, get them on a towel, and start letting them cool. The thing about tomatoes and fruits is you do not need a pressure cooker. Tomatoes you can do in a hot bath like this and boil them. Apples, peaches, high acidity fruits, you can do that. But when you start getting into vegetables like green beans and carrots and such, you need a pressure cooker to do them. So we will get this to a boil and give it 45 minutes. And I'm gonna start dump my second one in there and get that going. Won't bore you guys with that. Some of the tools. This is just a strainer lid. Goes on top. It's easier to put your fruit in. And of course your grabbers here. There's other tools, but that's just what I use. And with the lid, like I told you before, this one popped off. This ring did not want to seat on that jar. Every time I tried to tighten it up, it would slip, and then I'd have to tighten it up, and it wouldn't tight down really tight. So just disregard that. because we want them all to turn out. So here we go. Here's my boiling water for my next batch, and once that starts to boil, we'll put the timer on 45 minutes, and yeah. So our 45 minutes are up, and we're gonna get these bad boys out of here, and we are going to place them on our table to cool. We're going to let these cool for 24 hours. And as they cool off, you'll start to hear the little lids dinking. And then we want to check them in the morning by pushing on the center. We don't touch any of the tops until morning, until they've completely cooled. So, got green beans to do tomorrow. And working on my second batch. So that's pretty much how you can green beans. Well, tomatoes, I'm sorry, got green beans on the brain. But what I like to do with the green beans is in the morning after it's cooled down, I check them. I'll make sure they have all sealed, and then I'll take that ring off and wash the ring off, and I'll store them with just that little lid on top. Alrighty, thanks for watching.